When your eyes look into mine, creepers, creepers, where'd you get those creepers? Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those eyes? Cause y'all get up, how'd you get so lit up? Cause y'all get up, how'd you get that size?
Good morning, everyone. Alright, let's get this started. So, here we are with my backdrop that'll be changing every once in a while, and my new series of Judy haunts. So, basically what the series is about is me just slapping on some makeup and talking about haunted stories, whether it be my personal, or I do some history back checks, or I just find something random on the internet that I can read off to you guys to creep you out for a good time. And that's all. We're just here to have a good time and chat and hopefully have decent quality content. I've been working really hard on it. I really hope you enjoy this video and we get to it. So today I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'll figure it out. I know it involves these little horn dudes. Okay, we're doing little horn dudes, you know, these oh god, these little guys, terrible at focusing today, and this pink snazaroo face paint, and something gory, just slightly gory, because we've got a little bit of blood and a little bit of latex already to start the season. So anyways, let's get started. Oh yeah. Let's get this started. Excuse this squeaky chair. I hate this chair. I cannot wait to replace it. It's broken. It's annoying. I just don't like this chair. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is probably discuss the fact that all my life I've had some wild experiences. While I trim up these latex pieces, I'm going to kind of reminisce on earlier experiences I've had. Now, annoyingly enough, at this point in my life, I mean, I guess some people would love to have my upbringing with when it comes to the spiritual aspects, but I always ended up in the thick of very peculiar houses. The most notorious childhood experience I think I could discuss today is the fact that when I lived in New Jersey, there was a rented house that we lived in for a short period of time before we were completely scared out of it. Yes, indeed, terrified out of that place. And at that time, I think it was about the hurricane or whatever, and our house was like ruined. The place was a trash hole anyways. But we had to live up in New Jersey and we had to rent out this house. Cool, great. And I remember as a child, this guy that was like showing us around and discussing the area. There was like a golf field, and there was where my father worked at the time across the golf field. I don't even remember what my mother was doing at the time. And yeah, so I had like an open room right next to the front door, I believe, and then there's two bedrooms that were kind of like catty-corner to themselves. So like it'd be like this bedroom over here and like this weird, awkward corner. This entire time, this house just had a really weird vibe. I didn't understand it. I was a kid, and you know, at that time, I guess it was when I first started comprehending, like, oh, things like this can happen. Things can be this creepy. He was showing us around and acting super squirrely, and I just didn't understand why. Maybe he was nervous and it was his first time. Maybe it was just, you know, the vibe my own parents are giving off. I don't know. He was just acting weird and super squirrely. And I didn't understand it. I was like, okay, bro, just quit twitching around and give us the house because it cold. It was like the cold seasons. He was just being really super squirrely, and then next thing I know, we were living there. It was kind of okay at first, but it didn't last long, like, at all. I gotta take off my glasses and be blind. Great. So it didn't last long with the peace and quiet of the house, and it was also by the road. So when I mean peace and quiet, I mean like no ghosty things first. And then I started to lose my sleep there. I noticed that my mom was pretty agitated all the time and paranoid about whatever it may be. And she had every reason this time to be, because it was like no one could sleep and we all felt the same thing. At first, it was just me, I believe. This is my most blurry experience too. Like, this is as far back as I can remember. But I do remember me being the only one at first. So I thought, feeling watched, not being able to sleep, seeing shadow figures, and just not safe. I don't know if anybody who is into super like paranormal things know about this, but there are certain type of hauntings that leave money trails. So this whole long story involves money trails as well. It just started out as like, oh, I feel uncomfortable, I feel watched, to things are being moved, things are going missing, it's causing, stress, and the basement was never used. All I know from what I was told, the basement was hardly ever used, and I sure as hell did not want to go down that creepy thing. It was like half furnished, not even furnished, it was like half done to be like a bottom basement room, and it was never finished before we even got to rent it out. And in between that, there was also the playroom. So like that front room I mentioned, that was my playroom, and my bedroom was in the far back next to my parents. Like, I would hear somebody getting up, and I think it's my parents. Sometimes I would go in their room for some reason. I vaguely remember going in their room in the middle of the night one time, or a few times, and just feeling like something was there, and I had to wake them up, but I didn't do it. It could have been a nightmare, but I do vaguely remember something about me getting up and going into their room. Didn't make any sense. But yeah, it was really creepy. Last I saw this house, too, I was like, I believe 15 or 16, and it was condemned. I don't think anybody rented it after us. I really feel like we were the last, maybe one of two, potentially three other families that had rented this place out and said, no. So it's condemned. It's still sitting there. Part of me wants to go up to New Jersey again, because I know where it's at, and just tear that bee open. There's no passing signs. You can't go there. Like, you'll get in trouble, whatever. Super creepy. Felt watched. Things were missing. Then it started happening with sounds and voices. I would hear an old man's voice. I would hear whispers at night, thinking it's my parents up. That's probably why I got up sometimes. I couldn't go to the bathroom anymore because it was freaking me out. I had this collection of fairies from somebody in my family. I have no idea who in my family gave me a bunch of fairies, but I really adored the collection, and they kept breaking in the middle of the night. And then other days, weirdly enough, they would just be knocked over. We also had ferrets at the time, so there's a really wild experience of the whole ferret thing too. It was also affecting my school, because I would go to school just dead tired. God. You know what the weirdest thing is? I barely remember what I did at that school. I went to school up in New Jersey, but I don't remember anything from it. Weird. I feel like this house was my start to my obsession of paranormal activity, because where else would I have gotten it except from that house? That was the biggest stamp in my childhood to begin everything that's happened since. They had weird experiences with bugs and snakes and stuff like that, and they didn't know what to do. They didn't really like it. I had a terrible experience of centipedes, or millipedes, one of the two. And every morning for about 2 weeks straight, I'd wake up to centipedes and or millipedes, I can't remember which, falling on me in the morning. You heard me right. They'd be crawling all over the ceiling and the walls, and they would fall on me, and then die later that day before I got back home from school. It came to the point to where I would get yelled at for leaving money trails and running around the house when I was asleep, or I was reading a book because of school, or reading a book to go to bed. So there was a lot of me being punished for things I didn't do, because I would be minding my business, doing my thing, and my mother would come in because my dad was at work. I think she was actually a night shift worker somewhere, and my dad would work across the field, and she kept yelling at me, and she's like, hey, can you please, it got her really aggravated at the time. She's like, you need to stop doing this with the money. I don't know where you're getting all this change. And I would be woken up in a daze being like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it just was a consistent problem. I didn't know what exactly to do. It was just, you know, blame game until she started getting even more suspicious, and she's like, I keep waking her up. It's driving me crazy. She doesn't seem like she's actually doing it, but like, where else is this coming from? And at the time, my brother, I believe, was just the baby, like, because there was a really freaky moment with him too. So she didn't know what was going on, and at least with this, I can sympathize with her. And then she started feeling even more watched and started seeing a figure as well. I was already consistently seeing this figure. It was a tall, black, lengthy shadow figure. And this one night, I was, you know, trying to sleep, whatever. I had a balloon for some reason. I don't know if it was right after my birthday or it was some other occasion that I just collected a balloon. I was laying in bed. I couldn't sleep. I felt watched. It was really, really dark and creepy. I don't even think I had a nightlight at that time. And I kept hearing our ferret cage being moved around and touched, like really, really loud. And I was surprised no one got up because I thought they were like fighting or something. And it just terrorized me. And then I saw a head peek up from the foot of my bed. Like, okay, so remember when I say it's catty corner? So it's like a corner and then it opens up as a triangle like this. My bed was up against the wall right next to the doorway. So I was facing the doorway, and the doorway's at the foot of my bed on like this side, the left side if you're laying there. And I saw a shadow figure head poke out. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. His arm was like this, and he was like really peeking up at me. And it was, whew, just thinking about it freaks me out. But yeah, that was happening that night, and I wanted to scream. You know, any kid would scream at that. I think an adult would scream at that. So I did the whole, you know, nose cover thing, staring at it and terrorized, and I didn't know what the hell to do. Yeah, it just sat there. I could exaggerate the time, say like about 5 minutes, but maybe it was like 2 or something. Oh yeah, he's just chilling. Ghost man, just looking at me. No details whatsoever. I can't say he had any eyes. There's no eyes. Just really long arms for some reason. I was like, alright bro, can you like go the hell away? Because I'm trying to sleep here. I'm a little, I was like 6 maybe? I'm a little 6-year-old. Let me go to bed, please. Thank you. Frozen in fear. I wasn't even asleep yet. So I know some people are like, oh my god, it's just sleep paralysis. No, hunty. I know what sleep paralysis is, and I never see anything during sleep paralysis. I always see things right before bed, or I haven't gone to bed yet. There's been only very, 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 very rare, like, occasions that I think maybe it was a weird lucid sleep paralysis situation. So yeah, he chilled there for like quite a while. And then after that, he disappeared. Just didn't go down. He just disappeared. And then I heard the ferret cage all over again. And I was like, oh, okay. That's interesting. And it kept getting louder and louder and louder. And nobody woke up. Nobody noticed it. I was too terrified to get up. And I just let it happen. As I'm laying there listening to this like rustling sound and stuff like that, I then see this little black shadow. And it comes scurrying across the entire side of my room, like literally by the wall. It just bolted. This is a pitch dark room. There is no night lights. And I saw this little shadow just go doo, 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 all down the wall, all down the front wall, then disappeared. I was like, oh shit, oh shit. He morphed into something smaller. I'm going to die. Like, this is my whole thought process, and I was, why is my face burning? What did I put on my face? I couldn't breathe. I wasn't even hyperventilating. I was hyperventilating afterwards. And then I see a little black shadow on like this nightstand that was next to my stuff. And then pop goes a balloon. Balloon gone. Alright. I screeched. And I was crying. And I was like, Mom, Dad. And I was just so hysterical. Like any child out of a worst nightmare they've ever had. Hysterical. I could not understand why I was the one to be eaten. Little wet nose against my nose. It was a ferret. A ferret had come to save my life. I was not going to die like I thought I was. What's really freaky, back to the point of Shadow Man, is the fact that the type of cage we had, there should have been no reason that they got out. There was no explanation other than my parents assuming I pried open the door. Like, okay, it was like an old-fashioned, like, cage, okay? For a small child to bend the door flap inwards and just be dropped down and everything, I must be Hulk if I did that, okay? The entire door was bent. And I'm like, it wasn't me. I was in bed terrified. You guys saw me in bed screaming, thinking I was gonna die and be eaten by a demon, but it was a ferret. Thinking back, I really feel like it was my ferret just knowing what's going down and trying to potentially, I don't know, protect me from this situation. Because why else would it scurry directly to my room and know exactly where to go? It was just getting really bad. And I remember a lot of us being sick. It could have also been just weather because, you know, Floridians getting to cold climates, that might just be a thing. Things got a little intense with my mother constantly running us out of the house. There was a time where she didn't want to go back inside the house. And I was like, yeah, this is not normal. I remember the day that me and my mother both saw the spirit that has been a present in our lives straight up while my brother was in his playpen. He was just chilling, being baby, being a little, you know, little tot, and this figure just comes out of nowhere trying to pick him up, or was peering over at him. I do remember being picked up and literally rushed outside, and we sat there until my dad got home. Didn't feel safe. Nothing felt safe. We decided to move out. For whatever other reasons besides that. I'm hoping there were other reasons besides that, because that would really suck. And that was the only reason why we moved out, was because of that. And then we moved in my grandmother's house up in New Jersey. And nothing stopped there. And we're like, oh yes, finally can catch some sleep. I slept in a little mini room. I'm just gonna call it that to not have any controversies pop up. I was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. But I remember like not wanting to be crammed up, so they put me in a mini room essentially. I was like, alright, bet, I'm gonna make this work. And I did. And it was really cute. And the last time I saw that mini room, it was still the same. Just used as like a storage room now. I started losing sleep again. Because not long after moving into that house, it was quickly realized that escaping hauntings at all is not gonna happen. We started to hear things again, or at least I did, and this time like I was the only one who was not willing to ignore it, because curious little me doesn't give a damn. I just wanted to know what was going on, and I didn't get answers, and I never did up until I was 15, so that's annoying. So every night I would hear a pair of boots walking down the hallway, down the stairs, back up the stairs, back down the hallway, and then stop, either by my doorway or by the other doorway. And I kept thinking, oh, maybe it's my parents, maybe it's my dad, maybe it's this, making excuses. But then I started peeking out of the room, and every time I heard the footsteps, there was nobody there. It was just that for that house. And then I just never heard about the creepy haunted house ever again. When I came back up to New Jersey when I was about 15, almost 16, the place was condemned, and that's all we ever heard about it. It was just condemned. No one knew anything. So we left it alone. And now it just remains a mystery. And that was my biggest stamp in my haunt life. Yes? Because I'm not finished with the makeup at all. We could discuss, like, things I have planned for this channel. Other than what I discussed today with the haunted house in New Jersey. I don't know what to do with the rest of this makeup. I'm struggling so hard today. Now, I have mentioned before briefly, and actually kept off record a lot, of when I used to straight up travel around local areas and investigate, because I was just curious. I was like, hey, maybe there's something here. Or maybe there's something over here. So I would just straight up travel in our local areas, if you live local, and investigate, and I'm willing to do it again and keep it on record. If you guys are curious for that, or you want that, let me know. I will not start it this year, I don't believe, but I will definitely start it next year. So please let me know if that's something you want me to do. Also, for my channel, I want to be doing Q&As, so you get to know tidbits and tricks, or you get to know more about me. I want to do more vlogs of traveling when I can actually travel safely and everything. It's not very easy doing that right now, but you know, a girl can try, a guy can try, we all can just try for that. These horns, y'all. Let me know what you guys want out of my channel other than what I am trying to conjure up. And we'll work on it, because I definitely want to do more. It's just like, I need to read the room. Y'all need to help me read the room so we can get this done, because I have so much. I know another story I can share with you. I know another story I can share with you. And this one's super, super recent. And if you pay attention to my Instagram, you would know. This was happening December until, like, I believe February. And it just was, oh God, I lost so much sleep over it. Even after the fact, I lost so much sleep over it. Remember, after I got back from the con, right? I went to a con, came back, and I'm like, yeah, time to get some good old sleep because I'm exhausted. Well, that didn't happen. For some reason, I lost all track of time and couldn't sleep to save my life. I was wondering why. I was like, oh, maybe it's because, you know, con took a lot out of me and it's going to take some time to get back on it. I'll be okay. So I gave it a few days and just sleep was not happening. And then I started having really weird dreams of being visited. And I was like, why the F-bomb am I being visited right now? Like, straight up, I'm in the room trying to like do something or edit something, and then like this person just kept popping up. I'm like, literally, who are you? Because you're not welcome here. It kept happening, and I didn't know what was going on in these dreams. And then I would wake up at 3 o'clock exactly every time, and it kept going on and on and on for like a week straight. I eventually got tired of it, and I cleansed my room. And obviously my fiance knows everything. Like, anything that I experience, anything that like goes on hoodoo voodoo style, he supports it, he understands to his capacity, and he just wants me to feel comfortable wherever I'm at, because his house has got nothing. There ain't nothing here. This house is clear, essentially. This is why I've come to the conclusion that I am haunted. There is no out of this, because no matter what I do, it's constantly just something, one thing after another. Doesn't matter where I live, where I go, it's something. So anyways, disturbance of sleep after con. And I was like, this is freaking ridiculous. I need to get some sleep. I spent all this time at the con, running around, being a doofus, and then I can't sleep here. So I cleaned the place. I, cleansed it, saged it. I did some other things with some other incense that would help with that. And it worked. I finally got sleep, got some rest, didn't have to bother with anything. I thought it was all good and dandy. And then, instead of dreams, I just straight up kept waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and couldn't go back to sleep. And instead of just being like, oh man, I woke up and I can't sleep, that's okay, I'll just chill out, I kept feeling watched. And I was like, why do I keep feeling watched? And I know when I feel watched, there's something up. I was like, this is BS, I hate this, I just want to get to sleep, I don't want to be bothered anymore. And I would vocally be like, if there's anything here, anyone here, please, I need you to leave me alone, yada yada. Being so desensitized after years of just living with this type of thing, I just straight up tell the spirits, get the hell away from me, and like, you need to leave me alone. Like you literally would with an annoying person. I tell them to go away. I'm just like, okay, bye. I don't want anything to do with you right now. That's literally it. It doesn't have to be some like weird ritual or whatever people think with their misconceptions of spiritual stuff. You just tell them to give you your damn space. So I'd simply be like, no, fam, you need to leave. And then I would feel a little better about it and I'd go back to bed. Or I would just down a bunch of coffee and deal with it later. And then it got a little bit more intense than that. I still kept waking up a week later after I got a break from it, and it'd be like every other week. It'd be the same damn thing. So I finally had enough of being bothered, and I decided to cave and get an old and new program to do a spirit box. And it would like, it's one of those scanners that would pop up words, so then you can kind of be like, alright, so I get a gist of what you want to say to me. And it just kept saying things like closet, it kept saying things like plane, and it would bring up Brenda, which eventually I will bring Brenda on stage with me. Right now it is my little Robert over there. He's my bud. He's my man. Don't disrespect him or you're in trouble. So yeah, it would just be like random stuff like that. And then the dreams happened again after I'm like, alright, this isn't giving me anything. And this time it was me as a teacher. I thought I was just like a normal everyday Joe teacher, but it was like back in like the old days. Like I was wearing a long sleeved, like, think of Wednesday Addams but not goth dress. Okay? It was like the Wednesday Addams type, like top, long sleeve all the way, and it wasn't black, it was like an off-white with a white collar. I felt like I was wearing a lot of layers, and I was talking to this guy, and he was just telling me like something about the school finally being open, and he's so happy that I could fill in. So I was like, oh, so I'm not a regular day teacher, I'm just whatever they need me to do this day. And then I like look out to the freaking window, and there's a plane coming at me, and I'm like, what is going on? And all of a sudden I have like a classroom full of kids, and the plane crashes into a building on the other side, drags half of its body across the entire street, which it wasn't a big street, it was just a dirt road, and then just demolishes my entire room. And there's screaming and crying and blood-curdling screams, and it was just awful. I know, I feel really dumb right now because I forgot something super important before this dream. I was in the middle of doing a makeup look, and it was in the dark. It was only black light related, and I happened to feel watched again. I'm like, okay, so I feel watched. Why? And I decided to just ignore it and be like, okay, it's just me being in the dark and, you know, not used to it because it's been a while. Just ignore it. And then, you know, eventually the feeling will go away. Well, it didn't go away because immediately after I was like, alright, I'm gonna be cool about this. I'm not gonna freak out. Just leave it alone. I saw clothes behind me. This time my fiance's mother was home, and she was cooking at the time, so I thought maybe she had come inside the room to be like, hey, do you want to eat or whatever? And I was gonna, you know, be like, yeah, I want to eat. That sounds good. Food's good. Little did I know, it wasn't her. It was just this figure there. That's a little weird. I erupted out of my chair, and I just stood there like, what? I'm sorry, what? Because I swear on my life I thought it was his mom. And it wasn't her at all. It really, like, threw me off guard because I'm just trying to do makeup here, ma'am. And you just come up on here being like, hey, how you doing? And I'm over here like, wait a minute. So all this time, it really was something trying to get my attention because you're here. I don't get freaked out that easily. I just get annoyed, or I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. So I was correct on this? And it slowly disappeared in front of my face. It was the blue skirt that I saw in the dream after I finished my makeup and passed out. So I saw that, and then I passed out for a nap because I was super drained. I was just, you know, doing my usual on social media. And then I woke up, and my fiance was home playing games, and the first thing I had thought of to do was grab my phone. I was like, why do I need to grab my phone right now? Something's telling me to grab my phone. So I immediately grabbed my phone and started doing research. And I started looking around. I'm like, alright, tragedies with the plane. Tragedies with the plane. And I thought he'd be in like America, because America, you know, for whatever reason has a lot of plane tragedies. I don't know. Couldn't find anything. So I was like, okay, so there's no American tragedies? Well, where else am I going to look? So then I found a trace of a big one that happened in 1944. You know, it was in Europe. Somewhere in Europe. And it's a very small place, and it's a very small population. And since that tragedy of tons of kids dying and people on the plane dying, I swear I thought I saw my mirror just move. Okay. We're gonna ignore that because I need to focus. It was just this whole thing with death everywhere. Children died, parents died, teachers died. One particular teacher she was substituting for the one that was supposed to be there. And she was very young. She was actually the same age as me now. And it was just really freaky. So I kept diving in there. I found her name. I found her on the memorial to double check, make sure it was real. I found all these photos. It all matched up on dates. Yeah, it was a real thing. I don't know if it was the exact thing that I dreamt about. She never made herself known after that. I did all that research, figured it out, then found a penny in the middle of explaining this to my fiance. Like, literally, it was a random ass penny just sitting on the floor near where I passed out. There wasn't a penny there before. And I'm like, okay. And it was 1944. So I kept the penny, and I still have the penny. It's put away somewhere on my altar area. But yeah, I just have a 1944 penny sitting around because of that experience. And ever since that dream happened, not once have I heard about this woman again, not once did I see her again, and my sleep has gone undisturbed for that very reason after that. Was it a ghost that wanted to tell me her story? Maybe. Was it just weird, crazy, big, old coincidence that just happened to keep me awake because it was coming for me? Who the hell knows? This is the look so far. I kind of hate it. It was not something that I wanted to do. But it's something. Like, I don't even have my ears done right, so I can have these on. They're completely different colors. Guys, I spent all night getting this ready, and the audio is still a mess. So, that's the annoying part. No more lady. Oh god, if I could remember her name offhand I would tell you, but I just can't remember. And also I feel like it's a little bit disrespectful to use names of deceased people that might have potentially reached out to me. So either way, let's just not talk about her name. I know I posted about it. That's one thing, and I did it more of like a documented aspect of it. Look, the tragedies of my makeup. Did you see that? Do you see that dot on my eye? So annoyed. I promise to do better next time, guys. I just needed to get a video out because today I am most likely getting my Medusa piercing done, and I want to be able to heal my piercing for about a week before I do any makeup. And even doing that makeup, I'm not doing full face. So what I do with my lips, because I wear snake bites, I flip them upside down. It looks ridiculous, but it helps out so much. I remember when people were just straight up painting over their things. I'm just like, why guys? I tried lining them before, and people get mad at me. They're like, why are you doing this? You don't need to line your lips. Look at them. I'm like, really that hurtful to experiment to see what looks good and what doesn't? Because I don't think it's like that hurtful. I think it's good to experiment to see what you like and what doesn't work with you to your standards, not somebody else's. Who let me continue to work today? Honestly. Because this is some sloppy work done today. Honestly, it's bad. It's so bad. Please, if we recreate this, I hope you do such a better job than I did, because I did terrible. I did so awful today. What I can do, though, is probably release the hair. Maybe that'll help redeem this. All my wigs are messy, and I gotta fix them, and I didn't have time to do it today because I wanted to get a video done. So, if you want to know the truth, that's the truth. I didn't want to fix a wig before recording either. Add some blood. And I think that would be fun. I be losing my mind. Excuse my singing. I'm not a singer. Used to be, but I easily ruined my vocal cords when I started to death scream a lot. Or death growl, or whatever the hell you want to call it these days. I ruined my vocals that way. Oh, blood. Blood everywhere. Just need a little. Just need a little blood. Just a little bit. Because knowing me, I'd go overboard. In due time, expect some gory looks. Probably not talk looks, because I realize all this took way too much talking and way too much effort to do while trying to chat. But I'll definitely do some speed tutorials on this stuff, because 'tis the season to be spooky. Consider this a draft for a look I really want to do eventually, and it's supposed to go with one of my favorite TikTokers that I kind of made friends with a while ago, very, very briefly. So when I have the real motivation, you will see that happen. Right now, this is kind of like a draft. I'm sorry, guys. I just wanted to talk to people and look a little bit cute before my lip is swollen for a while. And this is cute. I do like it. It's just not a full look like I want it. And it's not very Halloween-y either. Just a little disappointing. So, I'm sorry. Do you guys want to see if brows look better with it? Let's see if brows look better with it. Oh boy. This is awful. I hate everything about this. Not every look I do is perfect. I will tell you that. It takes a lot of practicing everything all the time to be consistently good. And this is not at all my vision of what I wanted to do. So, I'm greatly disappointed. But maybe you guys can take better inspiration off of this and do something even better and maybe tag me and show me, because I'm down to see it. I'm down to see the inspiration come to life a little more, because this be a mess. I don't like this. Alright everyone, so that concludes my video. I hope you like to sit down and chat with me a little bit, trying to get the gist of what is going to go on. I've been trying my hardest not to be so infrequent with things, but it's been extremely difficult to get real motivation. Like I say, life has been a topsy-turvy, tipsy-turvy, whatever you want to label it, on everyone. And being that I work from home and I'm adjusting to a new business, and now that I'm going back to traveling a little, you know, just little trips in October, there's a huge thing going on with me going on a trip that hopefully will go well to my expectations. And then, you know, normal life stresses and, I don't know, just adjustments. Trying to find more inspiration to do a lot more. So I really hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope to see you again, and you can join me in my more haunted videos, discussions of my own personal experiences. My very first was more involving other people. A lot more of it only involves myself, because I did do almost an entire year of investigation just by myself. So that is only going to be an experience word from mouth instead of going out yet. But I definitely do hope that this continues in a positive more way, so then we can go and explore. We can go and investigate and do fun things, and I'll make more content for all of you. I would love to do that. I just need a say-so. I hope you like this look at least a little bit to get some inspiration, get into some kind of spooky mood. I'm sorry it's not my best. Like I said, lack of sleep does not help me at all. I promise to get better sleep next time, now that I know what I'm doing to a certain degree, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday. Till next time, everybody, Judy's Haunts will be at your service. And like I always been dreaming of saying, happy hauntings. Bye, guys.
Be sunny to me when your eyes look into mine. Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those creepers? Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those eyes? 'Cause you're get up.